Well, the smartphone market is about to get even more crowded. Samsung has just unveiled its latest version of its Galaxy phone, and it's packed with new features. To tell us more about the phone, we're joined now by Tristan Jutras from GetConnected Media. Tristan, what can you tell us about this new phone?
Well, it was interesting. The event yesterday was an epic event put on in New York, and it took on the qualities of like a Broadway stage production. Apple is notorious for getting a lot of hype around their events, even though they barely advertise them. But they even flew my boss, Mike Agerbo, out to New York for this big event there, and it was a full singing, dancing affair. It was quite interesting, and almost, you wonder if that was almost to distract from the phone itself, because the phone's incredible, but they really put on quite a show here.
So tell us what is unique about this phone. Are there certain features in it that we haven't seen in other devices?
Well, what they've really done, I mean, smartphones are all getting so good nowadays. They're so fast, they're very powerful. And so what manufacturers are doing is they're starting to focus on specific features like the camera capabilities, for example. In the Samsung Galaxy S4, they've packed a 13-megapixel camera into it, which is more than most of the cameras we have. I mean, it's still a small sensor, so those megapixels aren't going to do you so well, especially in low-light situations. But they have some really neat in-camera features they've built into there. For example, you can use both cameras at once, both your front-facing and rear-facing camera simultaneously. So you could be taking a photo of someone and also get a little inset photo of yourself. And they've got about half a dozen different ways you can combine these photos together. Yeah, so they've got video modes. Even for when you're watching videos, they've got this thing where when you watch a video and you turn your eyes away, it'll stop playing the video. They're really trying to do all these next generation kind of features that you wonder if people are actually going to appreciate or use or not.
Definitely. And, you know, everybody is obviously going to be comparing this with the iPhone. Do you think that I guess, how does it compare?
Well, it's bigger, that's for sure. It's got a 5-inch screen, which is the same size screen as the Galaxy Note, which they launched a couple of years ago, and people were mocking that as being something called a phablet, like kind of a phone tablet. The Galaxy S4 is smaller in total size, but the screen it's a gigantic screen. And you think, why do I need a screen that big? But once you've used it for a little while, it's really actually hard to go back to a smaller screen size, like the iPhone's 4-inch. So that's one of the big things that differentiating a big, bright, beautiful screen, full 1080p video on there. So that's one thing that you're not going to get on an iPhone, at least for a while. It seems like they're going bigger and bigger.
Okay. And it seems like Samsung is really stepping up their game just on all platforms.
Well, Samsung is the #1 manufacturer of Android smartphones. Basically, Samsung and Apple are the only ones making money in the cell phone business right now. They're just eating up all the profits. And some say, Samsung's a fast follower, that they were inspired by Apple for a lot of their innovations. But what I think they've really demonstrated over the last year or two is they're trying to differentiate. They're trying to do things that Apple isn't doing, trying to add features that Apple might not even consider adding. And they're also differentiating themselves from other Android smartphone makers as well. So much so that they're even launching their own OS. They have a phone coming out on their own OS called Tizen, and that's coming out later this year. So they may break away from Android altogether as well.
I see. Okay. And Tristan, one last question. When does it come out?
It will be out in second quarter. Near the end of April is what they're saying.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.